So today I've got this old snowboard here. This is a Burton Canyon. I don't have any bindings for it. And I don't plan on using it as a snowboard. At least not right now. So I've got some other plans for it. But in executing those other plans, I want to make sure that I don't destroy this snowboard either, just in case I want to use it sometime in the future. So if you're interested to see what I come up with, stick around. So what I've done here is I've salvaged some parts from some other projects, a couple of 1-inch pipes, a couple end caps, a couple flanges there, some conduit clamps, some screws, and some lock washers. The only tricky part was the screws because I wanted to make sure that they fit the existing threads in the snowboard. Because again, I'm not trying to damage this snowboard at all. I'm going to try to make this so that if I needed to take it apart, I could. So I had to go to the hardware store and find screws that match those threads. So my assembly here is about as easy as it gets. I'll take a piece of pipe and screw this flange on to the end of it, just like so. I'll take an end cap, screw that on, well, maybe, screw that on to the other end of the pipe. And let's try that one more time. Show you how easy that was. Screw the flange onto the pipe, like so. Screw the end cap on. And now I've got my two supports. Then what we're going to do is line up our conduit clamps, something like that. And we're just going to go ahead and screw them into the bottom of that snowboard, or technically the top of the snowboard. So here's the basic setup. I've got the different screw hole patterns I can mess with, and it just so happens that these conduit clamps perfectly line up. So I can just go ahead and use these screws now, and 4 of them, screw it on in. And there you go. I went ahead and attached the first brace to the snowboard here. 4 screws, pretty simple. And now this flange down here I'm going to attach to a separate piece of wood to then attach to the wall. So here's what I did. I took my other piece of scrap wood and I struck a line right down the center of it, and then I turned the screw holes on those flanges so that they were in line, and then sat those on that line that I struck down the center of that board. Maybe you can see that there a little bit better. And that way I know everything is centered the way that I need it to be centered. Let me go ahead and show you the pattern. Now you can see how I laid out the screw pattern there, the screw hole pattern rather, and down at that end where everything's lined up, and this board will act as my back brace support. And there you can see I went ahead and screwed that board into the studs on the wall. You can see how that other shelf is down there. Kind of lined it up with that one so everything's even. And then it's just a matter of screwing those flanges onto the board. You can see how I did that there. Give you a little bit of a close-up. And now I've taken that snowboard and turned it into a gear shelf. Now I know I'm going to have the haters out there that are going to say that the snowboard's upside down, and with it curved like that, items are going to fall off the shelf. I'm not concerned about that because of the particular items that I'm going to be storing on this shelf. I also feel like it's more structurally sound in this configuration. And lastly, because of how high this shelf sits, I can still see the graphic when I pull in my garage. So that's kind of cool. Well, that's it. That's how I turned this old snowboard into a utility shelf or gear shelf. And if it gave you any ideas, you know I'd appreciate that thumbs up like. Feel free to follow us on Instagram, see what we're up to throughout the week between videos, and maybe, just maybe, I'll see you on the next video. If you enjoy videos about the randomness of our amazing world, consider clicking on the globe to subscribe, or maybe checking out one of the other videos right here.